Good day, everyone. I am Audrey Madison M. Lacno, and you are watching the Lesson 1 ICT and Assessment of Learning. What is assessment? Assessment is very important in student learning. There are many approaches to assessment in learning with an emphasis on the process of learning along with the product of learning. ICT and Assessment in Learning discusses about the basic of assessment practices, explores how various technology tools can be integrated effectively for assessing students' learning, and describes the emerging trends in technology-based assessment in teaching and learning. For example, online quizzes, e-portfolios, digital storytelling, and discussion forum like Gmeet or Zoom. These examples demonstrate how ICT can enhance the assessment process by offering diverse and interactive methods to evaluate students' knowledge and skills.
Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry kiss.
Hi, I am Christina Argalbana, and for today, I will tackle about the types of assessment. But before that, I will give you a short description about what is assessment. So, assessment will help us determine the knowledge that our student receive before, during, and after the discussion. So, there are different types of assessment. So, we have the formative assessment, the summative assessment, diagnostic assessment, and last is authentic assessment. So let's start first with formative assessment. So formative assessment provides feedback and information during the instructional process. So when we say during, so the feedback we will get on time. So we can have an example about an open-ended question. So while you are discussing, you will also ask your students about their learnings on the recent topic that you've shared. And also you can have a short quiz, and after that check so that you can see if they really learn and if they really listen on your discussion. So that is just how short the formative assessment. You just need to focus the keywords, that is provides feedback and information during the instructional process. Okay, now let us move on the summative assessment. So summative assessment takes place after the learning has been completed and provides information and feedback. So when we say after the learning has been complete, so meaning you've discussed everything, and you've given the right instructional materials, the learnings. So there you will have a test to determine if they really absorb the lessons. So the great example here are the midterm. So we all know the midterm will be given if everything in the lessons are given and provided. So the midterm will be the last part for you to really know that the students really listen well all of your lessons, not just on the day one, but until the last day. So next one is the diagnostic assessment. So diagnostic assessment can help you identify your students' current knowledge. So when we say current knowledge, so now, so you will not take discussion, so you will just take their knowledge before, without giving instructions or without discussing them. It is all about their knowledge that they learn from their past experiences. So that is diagnostic assessment. And also we experience this since elementary, high school, junior high school, senior high school. We have diagnostic assessment, and that was being done on the first day of class, so that our teachers can know what are the things we've learned already, and so that they can have a guide also. So that is diagnostic and assessment. And for this is not recorded, since the teachers are only looking at for the background of your knowledge. So last but not the least is the authentic assessment. So from the word authentic, so meaning it is new, it is unique. So describes the multiple forms of assessment that reflect student learning, achievement, motivation, and attitudes. So authentic assessment can be anything. So we can have this great example of authentic assessment, just like writing an essay. You can also have role play and other more. So we can say on the essay, so we only provide rubric, but afterwards the students are the one who is responsible to build their answers, to build their knowledge about your discussion. So that is the authentic assessment, and mostly they have different grades since they excel differently. So authentic assessment will just base on the rubric that was given. So that is all for the types of assessment. So I hope you learned something today. Bye.
The role of ICT in assessment in learning. The use of ICT in assessment is very helpful to teachers because students' information and result of examination can be recorded, stored, and can be easily retrieved. With the use of ICT, the teacher can right away give feedback to students on the result of assessment. There are many freeware e-learning where the teachers can create quizzes and evaluate learning electronically. Online examination systems seek to efficiently evaluate test takers thoroughly through web-based online examination, a fully automated system that not only saves time but also gives fast results, and it also eliminates the need for monitoring while the exam is being taken. Some of the advantages of online examination are accessibility and flexibility, time management, save cost, and statistical analysis. First is accessibility and flexibility. Online examinations offer accessibility to a broader range of participants, allowing individuals to take exam remotely or from various locations. The flexibility in scheduling accommodates diverse schedule and time zones, providing convenience for both exam takers and organizers. Second is time management. Online exam provide benefits in terms of time management. Participants can often choose the most suitable time within a specified window to complete their assessment. This flexibility is advantageous for individuals with varying commitments and schedules, promoting efficient use of time. Third is save cost. Cost savings are a notable advantage of online examination, eliminating the need for physical exam papers. Printing and manual grading processes reduces the overall cost associated with traditional examination methods. Additionally, participants save on travel expenses since they can take exam remotely. Last is statistical analysis. Online examination system facilitates statistical analysis of results. The digital nature of this assessment allows for efficient data collection and analysis, enabling educators and institutions to gain valuable insight into overall performance, identify trends, and inform instructional strategies. It is important to consider the security and confidentiality in the context of adding information to websites, especially when it comes to educational institutions and examinations. Security should be a top priority when dealing with any website where sensitive information is being added.
Hey there! So I am Rochelle Miliasan, and now let's dive into the fascinating world of current trends in learning assessment. Nowadays, assessment methods are evolving to better cater to the diverse needs of the learners. So the 21st century assessment, it includes utilizing multiple measures of assessment. So instead of relying solely on traditional exams, teachers are now using diverse ways to assess learning. For instance, besides tests, there are projects, presentations, group discussions, and even self-assessment tools. So these methods gives a more comprehensive view of a student's understanding and capabilities. Second is increasing use of technology. Technology plays a big role in modern assessment. Online quizzes, educational apps, and digital platforms are used to assess students. So these tools not only make assessment more interactive and engaging, but it also provide immediate feedback, allowing for quicker learning improvements. Third is focus on the growth and development of the learner. So, assessment isn't just about assigning grades, it's about understanding where each student stands in their learning journey. So, the emphasis is on personal growth, identifying strengths, weaknesses, and offering support tailored to the individual needs of the students. And fourth is differentiating roles and responsibilities. So here, the roles of teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders in the assessment process have changed. So teachers no longer merely grade, but they guide, mentor, and analyze data to improve teaching methods. So administrators provide resources and support, while stakeholders contribute to the overall educational goals. So here are the important reasons for teachers to use technology in education. First is motivation. Second is distinctive instructional abilities. Third is higher productivity of teachers. Fourth is essential skills for information age. And lastly, support for new teaching techniques.
So good day everyone, I am Florence Abigail K. Manatad, and today I am going to tackle about the criteria in choosing appropriate assessment tools. So what is criteria in choosing appropriate assessment tools? So it is to determine the quality of your assessment instrument. You can and should measure these elements while you are developing your assessment instrument, and you should continuously monitor them once you have implemented it. So this is the appropriate assessment tools. Teacher needs to select tools to assess student achieve in the target outcome. Student learning styles vary widely and their strengths and challenges with respect to assessment vary as well. Teacher need to consider that variation as they choose assessments for their courses. The first step in attaining competency in selecting appropriate tests involves understanding the purpose of purposes for which an assessment is given. The following may be considered in choosing appropriate tool is the goal of assessment, method of assessment, the interval in giving assessment. Thank you.
Hello viewers, I am Desiree and today we're going to tackle about utilizing direct and indirect method. So one challenge for beginning teachers is selecting and utilizing the appropriate assessment techniques suited for learners' needs. So during teaching, teachers does not only share the information that they have prepared, but also monitor the students' learning and motivation in order to determine whether modifications has to be made. With this, teacher may either utilize direct or indirect method. When we say direct method, these are examinations, written assignments, oral presentations and performances, internship survivors rating for student skills, portfolios, score gains between entry and exit tests, capstone projects, theses and dissertations. On the other hand, indirect method provide a useful supplement and check on the findings from direct measures. These are student satisfaction surveys, surveys of students and alumni, exit interviews with graduating students, student participation rates, reflective essays, data on placement, and other measures of post-graduation performance. Moreover, teachers may also consider the following characteristics in selecting appropriate assessment tools, whether conventional or ICT-based assessment. First, measure the desired level of performance. So when we say measure the desired levels of performances, it refers to the level of satisfaction, productivity, efficiency, student performance, and such. Second is the cost effective. Make sure that it is cost effective in terms of effort, time, and money. Third, make sure it is useful. Useful that will produce results that provide information that can be used in making decisions to improve student learning. Fourth, it is reasonably accurate and truthful. Fifth, dependable or consistent responses over time. And sixth is evidence of being ongoing or not once and done. Considering the characteristics mentioned earlier, teachers can now conduct a formative assessment. This formative assessment's key characteristic is the frequent use of evidences gathered from various methods and feedback. So, besides serving as an indicator for attainment levels, students use this feedback to set goals for the next stage of learning. Teachers may also utilize ICT in assessment. It enables both teachers and students to provide valuable feedback on each learner's progress. The rapid development of ICT has provided teachers with digital platforms that support learning and teaching. Online tasks assigned by teachers will assess the collaborative problem solving construct in the five strands, namely the participation, perspective taking, social regulation, task regulation, and lastly, the students' learning and knowledge building skills. As ICTs provide the means of explicit design and implementation of individualized or collaborative problem solving tasks through teachers' interactive scaffolding and immediate feedback supply towards learner.
Good day, everyone. Today, I am going to tackle how to create and utilize a rubric. But first thing first, let's define what is a rubric. So a rubric is a set of criteria used to determine scoring for an assignment, performance, or product. This can be used to score many kinds of written assignments or exams, papers, projects, speeches, or a portfolios. The main purpose of rubrics is to assess students' performances. So there are two types of rubrics, the analytic rubrics and the holistic rubrics. So the analytic rubric, it describes work on each criterion separately. It utilizes separate holistic ratings of specific characteristics, products, or behaviors, while the holistic rubrics, it describes the work by applying all the criteria at the same time and enabling an overall judgment about the quality of the work. It utilizes holistic rating for a product or behavior. So in creating a rubric, you need first to identify objectives and criteria. Define your goals or learning outcomes being assessed. Break down these objectives into specific criteria or dimensions. Second, establish levels of performance. You need to determine levels of achievement like excellent, good, fair, and poor for each criterion. Lastly, you need to design the rubric structure. In this, you need to recognize criteria and performance levels in a clear and logical format. Also, use a grid or table format for easy reference and assessment. In utilizing a rubric, there should be transparency. You need to share the rubric with learners beforehand to enhance transparency, helping them understand expectations and focus their efforts. And use the rubric as a guide for providing constructive feedback. Referencing specific criteria streamlines communication about strengths and areas for improvement. In conclusion, creating and utilizing rubrics effectively contributes to better assessment outcomes and promote growth among those being assessed.
It is important to note that teachers should use variety of assessment methods in the classroom. Assessing students is how teachers are able to evaluate students over the material they are learning in the classroom, and therefore has to be done fairly to accommodate each and every student's interest and needs. This is the reason why it is important to use variety of different assessments.
And one way of assessment methods is the paper and pencil testing. Paper and pencil testing is the most common assessment procedure utilized by teacher with the purpose of gathering formal evidence about pupils' learning. In this method, the students are tasked to read the questions and respond in writing. In creating this type of test, there is a process that needs to be considered. The process starts with identifying what to teach, second, providing good instruction, third, selecting appropriate test question format, and lastly, reviewing for the test. Some examples of paper and pencil testing are the following: multiple choice test, true or false, matching type, analogy, and the simple recall. Another type of assessment method is the electronic portfolio. Electronic portfolio is also known as an e-portfolio, digital portfolio, or online portfolio. It is a collection of electronic evidence assembled and managed by a user, usually on the web.
There are different types of e-portfolios, namely the ideal e-portfolio, the showcase or professional e-portfolios, the documentation portfolio, the learning e-portfolio, and lastly, the evaluation or assessment e-portfolios.
Ideal portfolio contains all works of students, and it is not given to provide students a grade. Showcase or professional e-portfolios are primarily a way to demonstrate or showcase the highlights of a student's academic career. Documentation portfolio involves a collection of work over time showing growth and improvement reflecting students' learning of identified outcomes. Another is learning e-portfolio. These portfolios are typically created by a student as a part of a learning activity as a way to demonstrate learning and the learning process. And lastly is the evaluation or assessment e-portfolios. These portfolios, the teacher may utilize this for both formative and summative assessments feedback.
Now, we will talk about the Lesson 1 Digital Citizenship versus global citizenship. What is digital citizenship? Digital citizenship is an idea that all persons using the internet have civic rights and responsibilities. It centers around safe, savvy, and ethical use of technology. For example, social media etiquette, cyberbullying prevention, online privacy awareness, and critical evaluation of online information. Now, what is global citizenship? Global citizenship is the understanding of the action contribute to the value of the entire planet and concerned on how participates in and contributes to the entire world. For example, community service, cultural exchange program, advocacy for human rights, and environmental stewardship. But if we mix up these two together, it's the perfect recipe for the global digital citizen. A global digital citizen is a responsible, ethical citizen leveraging technology to foster community on a global scale through connection and compassion.
Hi, it's me again, Christina. So this time, I will tackle about the 5 tenets of global digital citizenship. So what are the 5 tenets? So we have the digital citizenship, environmental stewardship, and then the global citizenship, and last but not the least is the altruistic service. So let's start with personal responsibility. So what do you think if we talk about, or if we hear the words personal responsibility? So from the word personal responsibility, it all means about yourself. The decision making you do, you are the one who is responsible for your actions. So you do what you do, and whatever the result is, you are the one responsible for it. So personal responsibility is demonstrating how we manage ourselves, how you manage yourself, such as personal finance, ethical, moral boundaries, personal beliefs, and wellness. So that is personal responsibility. So personal responsibility is a huge cover. The life we had a huge responsibility to take. It may be on school, on our home, on our friends, and everything. So we need to be accountable. So the specific or the right term for personal responsibility is also accountability. So when we talk about accountability, you need to take what are the consequences of your decisions in life. So next one is global citizenship. So what is global digital citizen? So understands the technology. So here we are a global digital citizens because we communicate, collaborate, celebrate between all the world's people. So this is across the world, because when we say global, so it means everyone. So there is no exemption. So as students, we must be global interconnection. So we need to connect with people, not just with our nation, but also for the whole people around the world. So this also can encourage aware of the issues that was present in this time. So we need also our participation so that we can help them solve the problems in our global world. Next one is digital citizenship. So from the word digital citizenship, so it means digital, so online. So I have a questions. Are you responsible using the online platform? So some of us use it sometimes in not a responsible way. Some also helps us use the digital world for us to learn more, to have knowledge. So digital citizenship covers appropriate and exemplary behavior. So this is just like personal responsibility. So personal responsibility is about yourself. So digital citizenship is also responsibility, but how you control, how you use the online world. So next one is altruistic service. So when we say altruistic, it is having a selfless concern for the well-being of others. So you will be selfless. So you will think others first before yourself. So this is a way to create a meaningful connections with others. And then the last but not the least is the environmental stewardship. So when we hear the environmental, so that means environment. So environmental stewardship is the appreciation of the beauty and majesty of the surroundings that we see every day. So this is about the earth's resources. So we can see, so we can use the online to preserve our earth or our nature. So we need to be also responsible about our environments, because no one can do it for our environment. We need to take stand. And also that is the use of us. We need to help back, to give back to our mother nature. So that's it for the 5 tenets of global digital citizenship. Till next time, bye-bye.
Why do we need to be global digital citizen? Global digital citizen can contribute to solving the multifaceted challenges posed by online risk, technological disconnection, and environmental threats through a comprehensive approach. By promoting digital literacy and cybersecurity education, individuals can empower themselves and others to navigate the digital landscape safely, reducing the incidence of online fraud, identity theft, and cyberbullying. Advocating for responsible digital behavior, including ethical online practices and privacy protection, will further contribute to a positive and secure online environment. To address the sense of disconnection despite technological interconnectedness, Global Digital Citizen can encourage genuine connection and positive interaction in online spaces, fostering a more connected digital community. Additionally, in response to the unchecked growth of the internet and the rapid expansion of online information, individuals can support sustainable digital practices, promoting responsible content consumption and measure to manage digital information overload. On the environmental front, Global Digital Citizen can actively engage in advocacy for sustainable lifestyle, support eco-friendly initiatives, and participate in global effort to combat climate change and reduce pollution, including digital pollution. By leveraging technology for environmental solutions and supporting innovations that promote sustainability, Global Digital Citizen can play a vital role in addressing the complex challenges facing the digital and environmental landscape.
Hello everyone. So now let's proceed to the elements of digital citizenship. So under digital citizenship, there are 9 elements. We have digital access. So digital access is supposed to be available to all in the same manner that education is made sure by the Philippine government to be available to all citizens. Currently, on this matter, the Republic Act 10929 was signed on July 25, 2016, requiring all public places in the country to have free internet access. So, public places in this act covers national and local government offices like public basic education institutions, state universities and colleges, TESDA technology institutions, public parks, barangay reading centers, public airports and seaports, and also the public transport terminals. So, despite this law, however, many are still deprived of internet access and therefore deprived of some resources. To become productive citizens, we need to provide and expand access to technology, and we need to be committed that no one is denied digital access. Next is digital commerce. So nowadays, people shop through different websites and even do online transactions for banking. So many other online transactions are occurring, including the illegal downloading, pornography, and others. Thus, a safe and secure online shopping and other commercial transactions have to be done. With this, an E-commerce Act or RA 8972 was signed in July 2000. So this act aims to facilitate domestic and international dealings, transactions, arrangements, agreements, contracts, and exchanges and storage of information through the utilization of electronic, optical, and similar medium to recognize the authenticity and reliability of electronic documents related to such activities and to promote the universal use of electronic transaction in the government and general public. Next is digital communication. So, digital communication is the electronic exchange of communication, which includes texting, instant messaging, utilizing cell phones, and etc. So, as digital communication continues to grow, it is important that we do not forget how to communicate face to face. We have to utilize digital channels of communication to enhance our ability to communicate, but do not allow it to replace our ability to communicate. So, next is the digital literacy. So, as digital citizens, it is our responsibility to develop and continually enhance our technological knowledge. We should support and encourage the acquisition of technological knowledge by others. We should model the positive and proactive use of technology for good causes, personal and professional growth and education. Next is digital etiquette. So, this refers to the electronic standards of conduct or procedure. This is often seen as one of the most pressing problems when dealing with digital citizenship. So, imagine a teenager who spreads hate speech about a classmate online, or one who browses Facebook while attending Mass. So, browsing social media sites have become so addictive that young people tend to lose distinction between what is appropriate and what is not. It begins with rules, so it is not enough, however, to create rules and policies. So everyone must be taught to become responsible digital citizens. Okay, so next is digital law. So it refers to the electronic responsibility for actions and deeds. So the digital world is so huge that there should be order, discipline, and ethical use. Plagiarism, hacking of information, identity theft are crimes that are commonly violated by online users. So, as digital citizens, we must be aware of these illegal behaviors so that we can avoid them and report those who illegally engage in them. Okay, next is digital rights and responsibilities. So, for every right, there is a corresponding duty, and for every privilege, there is a corresponding responsibility. So, the privileges of digital access come along with responsibility, just as the Philippine Constitution protects us with rights of being Filipino citizens, such as the right to privacy, We also have the responsibility to be cautious in our online activities, such as posting our photos and videos online. Okay, next is digital health and wellness. So, our physical and psychological well being in a digital technology world should be a priority. So, many illnesses have become associated with technology use, such as carpal tunnel syndrome, eye strain, and childhood obesity as an effect of children's prolonged sitting in front of the computer screen. So, technology has also posed an inherent danger of addiction and threat from online predators. So, thus, children and adults alike must learn how to protect themselves as digital citizens through education and training. Lastly, we have digital security. So, how to keep oneself secure in any community is a major concern. If we keep our homes safe with gates and locks, we also need to protect the information that we provide online with privacy setting and strong passwords. We also need to have virus protection and backups of our data. As responsible digital citizens, we must know how to keep our data, our money, and our identity from all hazards in the digital world. So, digital citizenship is very similar to our citizenship in our immediate community. These are, there are social, ethical, and legal issues involved in our day to day dealings with people and the surroundings. It is not just about recognizing and dealing with online hazards, it is about building safe places and communities, understanding how to manage personal information, and about being savvy using our online presence to grow and shape our world in a safe, creative way, inspiring others to do the same. So, as a global digital citizen, we need to be compassionate. So, we should strive to establish a sense of global community in all our online and offline relationships, duties, and endeavors. So, that is all for my part, and I hope you have learned something.
So hi, it's me again, Avi. So this time I am going to tackle about the netizenship and etiquette in online communication. What is netizen? So when we say netizen, it is a portmanteau of the words internet and citizen. Citizen of the net or net citizen. So what is net citizen? It is a person actively involved in online communities. So say for instance, the students nowadays are actively involved in online activities because most of the time they are having online classes. So basically they are called netizenship. When we say netizenship, these are the net users who are empowered by collecting, creating, sharing information and knowledge with others. So being a responsible netizen mean you need to respect every or when you using the internet. So it is very important for us nowadays because some of us are not using the media right and responsibly. So we should be extra careful using the internet. Netiquette. So when we say netiquette, it is the rules or norms for interacting with others on the internet in respectful way. So the word netiquette, it is combining from the word net and internet and etiquette, so it means respecting others. So users should and displaying courtesy when posting your views to online discussion groups. So we have the netiquette guidelines. So these guidelines provides rules of conduct in social situation. So the purpose of netiquette is to help construct and maintain a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient environment for online communication. First, protect your reputation. whether in personal or in virtual world. You are the same, so do only what is appropriate and share information that does not harm you as a person. So here's a tip to manage your settings in social media or even in commercial accounts. Privacy settings that let you control who can see your information or post and how they can interact with you. Next one, the second one is respect others. So treat everyone with respect even if you have not been seen him or her in person. Be careful about what you say or what you have posted in social media. So you should respect your privacy and don't share personal information or post things that might harm other people or harm you. Next, the third one, express yourself clearly and use emotions. Miscommunication usually takes place because your facial expression or your body language cannot be seen. So the tone of your voice cannot be heard. Fourth, remember the intellectual property. Ideas online are products of intelligence of other. You need to cite or acknowledge the authors. So be careful not to mislead people when replying to a question. So if you are not 100% sure of your answer, say so. And if you are using the intellectual property of others, like example, website, books, vlogs, journals, or etc., to support your agreement, always cite your sources and assigning proper credits when referencing other sources. It is a sign of being respectful, responsible, and trustworthy online discussion. 5. Check spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Good writing means good manners. We do not want to waste other people's time reading our post which is incomprehensible. So of course, it is important to check our grammars or spellings before posting it online so that the readers or viewers will not misunderstood the information. So the next one is pause before you post. So take note that whatever posts become permanent. So therefore, think twice or thrice before you click or send, because it is worth taking a moment to reflect before you send that messages or something. So when you are using computer, you are normally just clicking, scrolling and typing all over the places. So most things are done quickly, but one time it is important to slow down when you are about to post something online for all the world to see. So pause and reflect for a second. 7. Do not share your personal information. So sharing your personal information to public will make you prone to identity thief. So individuals who have access your personal data can retrieve your login and information for various websites or commit cyber such as tax fraud. While posing as your identity thief is the type of crime that can have long-lasting repercussions for both you on your digital and privacy and your online reputation as well. So 8. Be accurate with factual information. Misleading others is obviously a major breach of online etiquette. This is true even if it's unintentional. So check facts before providing information or giving advice. So you should provide sources if you are not an expert in the topic. You shouldn't be acting like you are. So providing inaccurate information degrades the quality of discussion. So it also can have a serious real world consequences. So everyone needs to take care when informing others. So that would be all. Thank you.
Plagiarism is the act of presenting someone's work, ideas, or intellectual property as one's own without proper acknowledgement. It is a serious breach of academic integrity and ethical standards, leading to consequences ranging from academic penalties to legal actions. So, there are three types of plagiarism. First is copy and paste plagiarism. It is directly copying text without quotation marks or proper citation. Second is paraphrasing plagiarism. It is rewriting someone else's work without giving credit. Third is self plagiarism, submitting one's own previous work without permission or proper citation. So, to avoid plagiarism, we must properly cite all sources, use quotation marks for direct quotes, and ensure that your paraphrase content is properly or appropriately credited. On the other hand, intellectual property, according to World Intellectual Property Organization, refers to creations of the mind such as inventions, literacy and artistic works, design and symbols, names and images used in commerce. An intellectual property right is a right held by a person or by a company to have exclusive rights over these. Internationally, intellectual properties are protected by the World Intellectual Property Organization, to which the Philippines is one of the 191 member states. In our country, we also have the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, which administers and implements state policies in relation to intellectual property. This office was created through Republic Act 8293. This act defines intellectual property to include copyright-related rights, trademarks and service marks, geographic indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs of integrated circuits, and protection of undisclosed information. So, intellectual property protection is important in fostering innovation. Without protection of ideas, individuals will not be able to enjoy the full benefit of their inventions and they will not be compensated for their creations.
What is copyright? Copyright refers to the legal right of the owner of the original work or the intellectual property. So this work is an original intellectual creation in the literary and artistic domain, protected from the moment of its creation. An example of such are books, articles, writings, structural designs, graphic designs, and other scholarly, scientific, and artistic works. So now, let us move on to the guidelines on online use of copyright materials according to Smaldino, Lothar, and Russell in 2012. So first, contrary to popular opinion, all materials on the internet is copyrighted unless stated otherwise. It is copyrighted even if it does not only display the copyright symbol. Second, an email is an original work fixed in a tangible medium of expression that is covered by copyright. Hence, it is recommended that you should not forward any email without permission, in consideration of both Copyright and Privacy Act. Third, downloading an article from a newspaper website, making copies and distributing them to your students prior to a class discussion on the topic is permissible following the current photocopying guidelines, which permits making multiple copies for classroom use. Fourth, you cannot post students' essays, poems, or other works on the school websites unless you have permission of the students and their parents or guardians. And lastly, the fifth one is educators should treat copyrighted materials from the internet the same way they do the print formats. The best guideline is to always obtain permission. When in doubt, you should ask. What is copyright infringement? Copyright infringement is the use of works without the permission where copyright holder has the exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, display or perform the protected work or to make derivative works. Take note that in order to avoid copyright infringement, proper citations should be used when including them in your outputs.
Copyright infringement versus plagiarism. Although plagiarism and copyright infringement are related ideas, these two are different. Plagiarism is an act of fraud. It involves stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterward. There are some elaborations of plagiarism according to plagiarism.org.
First, turning in someone else's work as your own. Second, copying words or ideas from someone else without giving credit. Third, failing to put a quotation in quotation marks. Fourth, giving incorrect information about the source of a quotation. Fifth, changing words but copying the sentence structure of a source without giving credit. And lastly, is copying so many words or ideas from a source that it makes up the majority of your work, whether you give credit or not. For images, videos, and music, the following are counted as plagiarism. Number 1, copying media, especially images, from other websites to paste them into your own papers or websites. Number 2, making a video using footage from other videos or using copyrighted music as part of the soundtrack. Number 3, performing another person's copyrighted music. Example is playing a cover. Number 4 is composing a piece of music that borrows heavily from another composition.
In other words, plagiarism refers to copying the work of another and claiming it as one's ideas or without proper attribution, while copyright infringement is copying one's work without obtaining permission. Copyright infringement is a violation of the right of the copyright holder and is considered a legal violation, while plagiarism is a violation of the right of the author and is considered as an ethical violation.